Hi everybody. This presentation is going to show you what it looks like on the student side as they take the ACT WorkKeys. They will be somehow given this testing website, probably through a Google Classroom, and their username and their password is their Google credentials. So it's the first part of their email address before the @LPS and then their Google password. Because I've set up a training, gotta remember the training, student account. I'm gonna log in. And the first thing students will see when they log in, they'll see their name, and then they'll be asked to update their account information. So I'm going to go in here and quickly just add some information. They have to fill out everything that has an asterisk by it. Highest level of education. Most of the students will be either 11th or 12th grade. I'll quickly go through, but it gives you an idea what the students are going to be asked to complete. Current employment status. Primary reason for taking the WorkKeys assessment, I tell students to do it as a part of a school or class-related program because this is not for an employer. They put NA. Yes, they are currently in school for full-time. So this one trips up some students, the state and county of residence. So first it brings up, they'll click Colorado, and then the county. Some of them don't know the county that they live in. I tell them they're usually either Arapahoe, Jefferson, Douglas, or Denver, and kind of find out where they live for them to complete that part. And then once they are done, they're going to go down to the bottom and click Save Changes. Once they do that, they will be brought to their registration screen so that they can launch their assessments. In the testing script, the Proctor script, we will let them know what order we would like them to take these assessments. They will not be launching all the assessments at once. They only are going to launch one assessment at a time. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to launch the applied math so you can see all of the assessments that are in applied math. I will click on launch, and this is what you will advise students to do. They click launch. They will get a screen that says, please wait for authorization. This is where you as a proctor are going to go in and authorize the assessment. So hang on one moment. I'm going to go do that on the proctoring side, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And as you can see, as the proctor, I authorized the test. So now it tells the students authorized, you may proceed. So tell them to click on the proceed. And the first thing that will happen when they load onto the test, the assessment, is that they're going to be prompted to enter full screen mode. They do need to say okay to this, and it will move their screen into full screen mode. Students need to understand that if they try and exit out of full screen mode, it will automatically terminate their assessment. So they need to keep it in this mode through the whole assessment. They will be utilizing this next on the lower right hand corner, so they'll click next. And this is the terms and conditions. Once they scroll down, they will select A, verifying that they are in fact that student. This is Heritage Eagle. And click continue. Then they will have a tutorial. Through this tutorial, each assessment actually will have a tutorial for the students to remind them of all of the accommodations that are available to them. The first one here is timed test. If they are a student that has anxiety regarding just seeing that clock countdown, they could hide the amount of time that is remaining in the assessment. Each assessment is 55 minutes in length. If they qualify for accommodations, they will see more than 55 minutes if they qualify for extended time. So it might show more than 55 minutes for those students, but they could hide that if they would like. Talks about the sidebar down at the bottom that they can hide it, and they can also flag questions for review. So if they're not quite sure, I don't know if this is the right answer, they can flag it for review and come back to it. They record their response by selecting the answer and clicking next. There's nothing else, there's no save button, so they'll select what answer that they believe is correct and then next. The scratch pad under tools is a way for them to take notes during the test. There is a calculator for the math section, so this is fantastic. There is a built-in calculator. Students may not use their own calculators because this calculator is built in. It can be moved and resized. There's also a formula sheet that is available for students. There's a line reader that will show one line at a time in a question or passage. The answer eliminator lets them rule out answer choices. There's a magnifying glass that zooms in on any area of the page. There's answer masking that lets them show and hide answer choices. The masking also allows them to show and hide a whole area. The highlighter text allows students to highlight a text in a question or a passage. And the contrast changes the background and text colors. I actually had a lot of students do this the last time we administered the test. And then finally, it tells them that help button, if they forget where everything is, they can click on that help button at the bottom and it will help assist them throughout the assessment. Once the students finish going through the tutorial, they will be brought to this screen where they will be instructed that, yes, this is the applied math. It's 55 minutes in length. Again, if they qualify for extended time, they'll be shown more than 55 minutes, and there's 34 questions. They will click next, and once they click next, the assessment has officially started. As you can see right here, I have the timed test going on. The timer is going. So they will go through and select their answers, read the questions, select their answers, and continue with next. I'm going to quickly just go through all of the different questions here, randomly selecting, because I want to show you what it will look like at the end when they finish the assessment. Again, if I want to use any of the tools, I can go down here and say, hey, I want my calculator. That will be brought up for me. Or I can say, oh, I don't remember that formula. So they will have the formulas all here available to them. So again, I'm going to quickly go through and answer all these questions. One thing students have said about WorkKeys is they feel like it is a test that the questions are very relatable to what they might be facing in their careers or in the real world. And it didn't feel like one of the normal assessments that they've taken, whether through CMAS or sometimes in the classroom, that they just didn't see as relevant. And after our pilot of the WorkKeys, I asked students what their thoughts were and would they recommend this test to others. And it was 100% of the students said yes, they would totally recommend taking this test to their fellow classmates. I even had a student say, I didn't think I was good in school until I took this assessment, and it showed that I actually know a lot and I will be successful in the career world. That really warmed my heart. At the end of each assessment as well, when they get their assessment page where it tells them their scores, it also displays what their skills are in that area. They can take that to their employers and say, this is what I can do. It is just a great opportunity for students to really show their strengths, especially those students who might not always feel success in the traditional classroom environment. All right, we are almost done. We're on question number 32. And then you'll see what it's like at the very end of this assessment. So it says, we're about to leave this section, that I've answered all of the questions. And once I close, I cannot return. So I will close my section, or I can go back and review my answers. If students will get a very similar thing if they go up here and click exit, saying, oh, you're about to submit the test. If you quit now, you can't return to it. If they haven't finished it, we'll tell them, you haven't finished this test. Don't do this. So I'll go down here and do it the correct way and say, close this section. Then they get to this screen. At the end of every assessment, we are offering students a 5-minute brain break. And if they are taking all 3 assessments at once, they will also get a 30-minute lunch break as well. Some students decide that they want to power through it, and that is perfectly fine. But that's what it looks like on the student side. I'm going to pull up a result page so that you can see what it looks like once they are completely done and we return the results to the students. All right, so this is what it looks like for a student's the results for the assessments. They will see all 3 of their assessments in this score level. In order to meet graduation competencies for both math and English, students must score a 3 or higher, a level score of 3 or higher, and all 3 of the assessments. So this particular student did pass and meet, I shouldn't say pass necessarily, it's not a pass or fail test, but they did meet their requirements for graduation competencies. The really cool thing is it will tell them in applied math what they scored, and people who scored a level 4 have demonstrated all of the level 3 skills plus additional skills. So this is something they can bring to their employers and say, this is what I can do. These are my skills when it comes to math. Same thing with workplace documents. They tell them what they scored and then also what they are able to do. And then the graphic literacy, again, the level scored, and the skills that they have been able to demonstrate. This is a great tangible thing for students to see what they are successful in, and they could use it again by showing it to their possible employers. And I told students even you could show this to your employers for maybe even getting a raise. Demonstrating the skills that you're able to do is very, very critical, especially in today's job market. So that is ACT WorkKeys from the start to the end on this student side.